Hi everyone, welcome to Viewers Mistakes 14. Another episode where I'm going to rate my viewers and other people around from A to F on risk, not on blame. Pretty obviously both involved in that clip, but how would you rate either party? Don't make your mind up just yet. Pretty obviously that van driver wasn't happy with my viewer's actions. This one's quite a simple one for me, and I think my viewer makes a basic mistake. Green means go if it's clear, and it's not. My viewer should have waited behind the line. But ironically, my viewer's annoyed at this driver of this van to the right hand side, who's done exactly the same as my viewer. They should have also waited behind this line. And actually the van directly in front should have done the same thing, because they're blocking traffic also. If people are past the line, however, you should hold back and let them finish. My viewer doesn't, they just blast through. My viewer wasn't stopping for anyone, and it's obviously riled the driver of the van. My viewer gets a D for this, and it's actually a shame that the van driver does this as a reprimand. They get a C. With the original incident, they ceded priority and reduced risk, where it was my viewer who was totally the risk creator. This next piece of footage is a pretty scary one. It's a big collision with a tree. This happened just before Christmas. Let's have a look at this clip first, and then I'll come back to do a little bit of an analysis with it. Straight from the off, we can give Harry, my viewer, who had this collision, a grade F. He was totally admitting of his own errors. He said that he came in too quick to the corner and misjudged it, pretty obviously. He did also mention about taking the position to the offside of the road on a corner just leading up to it. I don't think that had anything major to do with the collision. Maybe if he had have taken the correct line round the left-hand bend in the correct side of the road, or on the correct side of the road, he may not have been as quick coming into the next corner, but it was a lack of judgment coming up to that corner that literally caused the collision. With all of these clips, as I've previously mentioned in the video, all my viewers are accepting of their part in it, and Harry actually analysed this really honestly and really well. There's nothing more to really talk about regarding the clip, but I would like to just have a quick look at the aftermath. Harry was unconscious after this collision. The car's SOS system called the emergency services, and there were passers-by who did help out, or helped out. Harry fractured his humerus, which is the top bone in your arm, and he also had fractures to the pelvic area. I can't remember the name of the bone that connects the pelvis. He had a couple of fractures on that. He actually fractured his pelvis as well. He was in hospital and he had to use a wheelchair. He was in a wheelchair, he was wheelchair bound for a number of weeks, and it was leading up to Christmas. I actually got an email from him was on Christmas Day. It might have actually even been on Christmas Day, to say he'd got out of his wheelchair. So thankfully, he was out of his wheelchair and walking quite soon after. But the tree, haven't graded the tree. The tree definitely got an A. At that speed, you can totally understand why the car was written off. And here are some pictures of what the car actually looked like. And as you can see, it was an absolute mess. The speed of the impact obviously has made some massive damage. And Harry was lucky to get out of this one. I did run a car vertical check on Harry's car, and I ran it actually after I got the first email, and it wasn't showing up as any problems. It only came up with financial restrictions, which I'm suspecting is the lease that Harry had on the car. When it had all gone through and been accepted by the insurance companies, I did another check on Car Vertical, and this is what it said. Now, we're not going to find anything that we don't know about this, but you imagine if you didn't have the history and the story that's told from the owner, like I had. How would you find out the history of your car? Well, this is a simple way to do it. Stick your reg number that you're looking at of the car that you're looking at into the website, and within a couple of minutes it produces a detailed report. And this is the financial and legal status. As you can see, that there's a lease potential problem with that, and it even shows you the document number and the term and who it was financed with. That's pretty good going. So back to the report, no other issues with that. Maintenance schedule, it even says when, let's show you this, the past maintenance, and it shows you what was checked out when the car was probably serviced. There you go. Engine oil leaks, engine oil, foot brake and pads. Sorry, not foot brake, front brake pads, front brake discs, rear brake pads and discs, and the service interval indicator was reset. So that's impressive to have all that information. But this is where the damage is recorded, and it's pretty obviously pretty serious. The vehicle was marked as an insurance write-off, and if we have a look at this as well, it's a category B, which means it's unrepairable. I think Matt Armstrong would even struggle dealing with something like this. Maybe not. Matt could probably fix most things. However, having that understanding of the vehicle's history before you purchase it is massively important. If you use the code Ashley, you're going to save yourself 20% on checking out your next car. Thanks, Car Vertical. Again, we'll have a look at this clip first. My viewers all send these in saying that they made a mistake, but I thought my viewer does a good job here.
So I'm with John. That sense of ultimate profound. It's more today.
That was definitely a tricky one to deal with. My viewer did a brilliant job and gets an A. Let me explain why. This is the A414. And I think it's a national speed limit section. Please let me know if I'm wrong. And this incident gives my viewer very little warning. It's only about at this point where we first know that this white SUV is going to emerge. Dashcams distort distances, and this is a lot closer than it actually looks. My viewers got to assess their surroundings and take the most appropriate action, and they do this brilliantly. And it changes quite soon also. With the position of the white SUV, my viewer's starting to head to lane 2, and I think that's what I would have done at this point. But now everything's changed. It's also a good job my viewer has been braking heavily and scrubbing as much speed as possible. This has given them the time to change their mind. If they had have just steered, this would have been a collision. Without question, the driver of this white SUV has to get an F. A terrible manoeuvre and a dangerous one. This is quite a recent clip, and I'm surprised all of my viewers haven't got onto this one. Is the vehicle emerging from the slip road catching the white vehicle in lane 1? And if it is, how quickly is it catching? And how quickly is my viewer catching the white vehicle in lane 1? Where's everyone going to meet, do you think? I bet there's many of you who's saying my viewer's in the wrong spot. Without doubt, the grey car emerging is terrible. They get an F. But my viewer's not much better. They get an E. This was so obvious.
Hell.
Video protected.
If you didn't spot it, go and have another look at the clip and watch my viewer's speed. They actually speed up into that problem, and that's why they got scored so badly. In this final clip, we've got unfortunately another collision that we're going to be picking through. It involves my viewer, the four-wheel drive in front, and the silver vehicle in front of that, and it's simply caused by following distance. Whilst we're watching this clip, notice how little of the vehicle in front of this four-wheel drive that my viewer can actually see. And don't forget, dashcams do distort distances, so my viewer's closer than it actually looks. The four-wheel drive also looks a little close to the silver car in front, and this compounds the problem further, and when my viewer doesn't correct himself catching under braking, a collision's inevitable.
Video protected.
In a moment you'll see what caused the vehicles in front to suddenly stop, but it was my viewer who pushed the four-wheel drive into this silver Kia in front. And the driver of that car had slowed down and stopped, because as you'll see now, there's a vehicle blocking the road. So we've got a few people to mark, and I'm going to start with my viewer. If your actions cause a collision, it has to be an F, and that's a new line that I'm drawing in the sand. This lady who drove the silver car didn't do anything wrong in my opinion. She gets an A. The driver of the four-wheel drive was too close, and I think he should get a D. He could do a lot better. Being a little further away may have actually stopped this accident altogether. And we can't see whether there's actually anything blocking this private hire driver who seems to have stopped in the new road. If they've parked there, they deserve a D as well. I'd like to thank everyone for their continued support. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so, and if you could press that like button, it would be a massive help. Keep safe everyone. I'll see you all soon.